So, Jernine Russell, back with another episode of Purpose Driven Life. We have been doing this for a very long time, since 2021 even. And it wasn't something that I sat out and thought, oh yeah, let me start a podcast. If you know me, you know that's just definitely not something I would do. But it was something that, an assignment, something that I feel like God definitely led me to have these conversations with different people about purpose. It is something really personal and passionate to me because I feel like there were times in my life where I wasn't really knowing what my purpose was. What am I supposed to be doing? Am I on doing the right thing? I felt very lost at a period of time of my life as well. And this is why I do this, because I want to help other people who may be feeling lost, who may be feeling like they're not sure what they should be doing in their life. And yeah, that's pretty much how I came to do this. Today's guest is somebody who I just got a lot of love and admiration for. And it's an interesting journey, and I hope you won't get upset, but I do remember meeting you about 23 years ago. I think it's about 23 years ago. And my first impression of you wasn't great. I was actually petrified because this guest who's going to introduce himself is my husband's cousin. Obviously, we weren't married at the time, and I was quite new dating his cousin, and he was just giving me like a full interrogation, basically. And I wasn't prepared for it. I kind of expected that from his sister or his mum, but I wasn't really expecting it from him. So it took me a long time to warm up to him. But yeah, you need to just introduce yourself after that.
Firstly, let me apologise because I don't remember that at all. But
You don't remember?
No, I don't remember one little bit.
Oh my gosh.
It does sound like me, so... You know what, 25 years nearly later, I'm very sorry, cuz I'm very, very sorry. Right, so my name is Leo Roget. Janine's husband is my little cousin. We were very, very close, especially when we were younger. And he was probably more like my little brother. And hence why you got that interrogation. But yeah, I'm sorry.
It's all right. I passed the test. I'm still here.
You passed flying colours, no doubt. But I don't remember, but I'm sorry.
Oh dear, it's so funny. It's so nice when you grow with people, because I feel like I remember seeing you a lot when in the beginning of our relationship, and then you know how life goes different ways. You're doing your thing, we're doing our thing. But I think the last couple of years, since we've probably had the boys actually, the younger kids, there's been just an alignment in our lives a little bit more. But I haven't said it to you to your face, but I have watched you evolve, Leo. Like really. And I've got so much love and respect for you. I think
Thank you.
You know that, but I am so immensely proud of you.
Thank you very much.
And I can see the work that you've done. I feel really emotional. I can see the growth.
Thank you. It is touching and it is emotional to hear. So thank you very much. But I think looking at myself, I can completely understand that, because in my younger years, put it this way, I'm probably a late bloomer, and with maturity and where other people might have been a little bit more grown up at an earlier age, it probably took me a little bit longer to actually find myself, understand myself, and therefore knew how to express and communicate with other people. So yeah, it makes total sense what you're saying, but thank you.
That's listen. And I don't think there's such thing as a late bloomer. I think everybody has their time. And as long as you get there, that's true. The main thing, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, because I think there's some grown-up people that still got some work to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, some people struggle a little bit more than me, and some people never actually really get there. So yeah, no, it's really nice to hear. So thank you.
Yeah. So this is the podcast.
Yeah, nice. I like it.
And I've been doing it for a while. It's all about purpose. I didn't tell you too much about it because I didn't
Nothing
want
at
you
all.
to, say no. So it's all about purpose. And I kind of really let God lead me on who I need to speak to. And you know what's really funny? Sometimes Marlon might say, oh, what about this person? Or someone will say, oh, you should have that person. And I'll be like, nah, this is who I want to have.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like you've got so much to bring and share with other people. And your journey is different from a lot of the other people that I've spoken to.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I feel like it's going to be an interesting one.
Okay. Let's
So
go.
my first question, I didn't tell him any of the questions. So this is going to be so exciting. But the first question is, what does purpose mean to you?
What does purpose mean? Okay. I think my understanding, which may be different to many other people, is what you live for, why you get up in the morning, what drives you, what inspires you, what you can give. I think, unfortunately, a lot of people are alive, but they're not living. And that's because they don't have a sense of purpose or, a direction that they're moving in, or a journey that they're on that they recognise. And I think when you've got a purpose, or you recognise your purpose, should I say, then that gives you a positive energy when you wake up in the morning, during your day, and even if things aren't going according to plan or the plan that you had, you still know that you're living. They're just obstacles you've got to deal with, if that makes sense. And I think it's one of the saddest things in the world where people don't recognise their purpose and they're just going through day after week, after month, after year, alive, but not with any life in them, so to speak.
Mate.
So, yeah.
You see why I invited you?
Thank
My gosh.
you. Yeah, so that's my definition anyway, but
I
that's the
love
way I see
it. I think we're going to have to do, when they see those quotes on Instagram and then they put your name at the end. Because I've done this, I don't even know how many guests, I'm past 50, and everybody's definition is different.
Yeah.
And I love that. I don't want a definition from Oxford Dictionary. I want yours. But I got goose pimples listening to you. And you know what? There are so many people who are alive, but they're not living.
Yeah.
Like, it's so true.
Yeah, and it's sad. Really, really sad.
It's really sad. And I feel like I want other people to feel like how you are just able to just say that is because you do it. You wake up every day living and walking in your purpose.
Yeah.
And I want everybody else to feel like that. I do that every day. And I want people to have that same get up and go. Like I don't get up and think, oh my gosh.
I think for me though, it's very much a case of, like I said, later on in my life, I recognise that. Whereas before, I would have been one of those people that was alive but not living. And then, there's I don't even know when it was or what happened. I couldn't put my finger on it. But a time came when I said to myself, you need to be living for something, and not just living for something. You need to recognise what you're living for, or who you're living for, or what your whole purpose for being here is. And I know this might sound a little bit dramatic, but if you don't recognise that and you don't see that, you're kind of like one of them zombies going through life, and a big part of your soul and a big part of your spirit is dead. So, I don't want to be putting a dark cloud over it, but I just think it's really sad, like I say, that people are alive day in, day out, but a big part of their soul is not.
That is deep.
Yeah.
But I think it's true. And I can definitely recognise, I can just remember working was it after COVID or before, but when I was in the office, And that's what you see. And it's like, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd find myself like having conversations with people to say like, there's more to this, like than just this.
You
There's so much more.
Yeah.
And you just need to just take the time to look for it
Yeah.
and stop going through the motions.
Yeah, exactly that. And I mean, I think you're one of those human beings that would see that, and you would want to show somebody, listen, there's more to this life. There's more to, doing what you're doing, and you can get so much out of life if you can just see where you are and where you could be. But not everybody's got that, and most other people just let people go past them, and they don't try and inspire, they don't try and help, they don't try and give. So yeah, big credits to you for that. But I'm gonna mess this up, but I'll find it for you. Will Smith is a big hero of mine, big hero. And when I was going through difficult times in the past, he's got different little clips on YouTube. And one of his, short clips, he talks about having a spiritual responsibility to make other people's lives better. And your life becomes better when you make other people's lives better. And that has stuck with me ever since. And, I played it day after day after day. And then for me, when I can, and when, in the term I use, when I'm on my game, I'm always trying to make other lives better, because then it makes me feel better myself as well. And I think you're very, very much that type of person too. And if everybody was like that, it would be a much better place.
That's true. I appreciate that. And yeah, you got to keep doing it as well. That being said, what is your purpose?
My purpose now, as we speak, like most people, I'm soon to be married, very soon. We've got 3 children, and like most parents, I love my children a lot. I love my wife to be a lot. So just seeing them is enough inspiration and motivation and happiness and joy for me on a daily basis. But it's being the correct role model for them in the house, outside the house, so that I can influence them in the most positive way I can. Now, as a parent, I'm not always going to get it right, but if you get it wrong, trying to do the right things, then I'll always forgive myself now, which is something that I probably couldn't have done when I was younger. So I think my first purpose lies at home with my family, my closest family. Now, taking it outside of the family, I used to play football for a living. Used to be a professional footballer for 11 years. And doing my qualifications to be a coach now. And I love, as you know, coaching boys and girls. I love it. Sometimes they're walking off their pitch because the hours session is up, and I'm like, no, come back, let's do some more. And they're like, we got to go home. I'm like, no, come, because I absolutely love it. And then I go home and I'm thinking about it, how I can make it better, how I can make it more enjoyable, how I can improve this player, how I can improve that player. And obviously, while I was playing, you're learning the whole time, but you don't realise you're learning, because I was just being a footballer. But all the tips and all the tactics and all the techniques has been a learning curve for like 11, 12 years. So if I wasn't a very good coach, there would be something seriously wrong. If you go to college for 12 years and you haven't learned anything, you're doing something seriously wrong. So firstly, I already know that I've got a certain quality in coaching football to youngsters. But now I've got 2 rules at my academy, 2 rules. The first rule is you have to come in and have fun. You have to enjoy yourself. That's the first rule. The second rule is when you leave, you have to be able to go home in the car with mum, dad, grandma, whoever it might be, and say, Leo taught me this today. Leo helped me with this today. Leo made me better because he did this with me today. So now, from a working point of view, my purpose is to inspire, educate, motivate as many people as I can, so that they can go on to, if they want, have professional football careers, semi-professional football careers, or if they simply play with their friends when they're older. I've had a positive influence on them. So that's my sort of working purpose. And the hardest purpose for me right now is my own spiritual purpose. And that is by far the hardest one for me. Accepting certain things and being in a good mindset and in a good space. Not accepting certain things that are not correct, whether it be at home, whether it be at work, wherever it might be. But just having that spiritual balance where, you know, you know me, so, well, Marlon knows me very well, but you know me as well. And I was always known as the man with no middle. So I'd always be up there or I would be down there. And it would be 10 or 1. But it's now just to bring it like that a little bit and just have that little
equilibrium.
Yeah, exactly. And then just be content with things that are around you, without having to get too upset or get too happy, you know. And that's my final, like, real piece of the jigsaw. Find that spiritual stability where you're don't have to be in a good mood all the time, but you're calm, you know, and you're relaxed and you're content with things around you.
I love that. I love the way that you kind of put them all into little categories.
Yeah.
But the one that I found interesting was that the coaching, because I think coaching is a gift. I think there's thousands of football players, but not all of them can be good coaches.
Yeah. 100%.
So I think you coaching, and I've seen you because you've coached my son and my daughter, and it's your gift.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
Definitely your gift. Yeah. So yeah, and I feel like you're just refining the gift even more now.
Yeah.
And I just think you've got this thing of, you left out the kind of PTing, because I think you're really amazing at that. And I've only seen it. I've not had, because I'm scared actually.
Don't be scared. I want to book in for next week.
I'm actually scared. But I had my PT he's not my PT, he's just the guy.
You got another PT?
No, I
okay,
don't. No. Can I clarify, actually?
I'm playing.
He isn't my PT. He is the guy whose classes I go to at my gym.
Your PT, okay, cool.
I don't actually have one-to-one sessions with him.
Okay.
But yeah, I had him on, and it's really interesting to hear. But as I said, there's lots of people that do classes, but not all of them, it's their gift.
Yeah.
And I think that is, there's a fine line between purpose and your gift. And it's trying to kind of merge them into one thing, which is a blessing when you are able to do. And I definitely think that yours is gifting and purpose aligning together.
Yeah, and I think I'm really fortunate because a lot of people don't get those two in alignment. And, you know, I'm at that age now and I'm at that level of, how can I say, I can be honest about myself, good, the bad, and, you know, in between. And like I said, if you've been in an industry for 12 years and you're actually doing something that you love now, the likelihood is that you're going to be fairly good at it. And that's not being, you know, big-headed, that's not being arrogant or anything like that, but I should be good at it. And if I love it, I should be even better at it. And when I see them boys or them girls coming through the gate, I've got that excitement. So now when I was a youngster and I was playing football and I was going, you know, over that white line to play a match, I had that excitement. Now it's completely different because I'm now the coach, and when they're walking over the white line, I've got the same excitement. It's not the same thing because I'm coaching now, and it's my job to make them better. But it's that same feeling inside, and you got that little buzz, and you got that little tingle, and you're like, okay, let's go. So you know, I can honestly say that, and confidently say that I am pretty gifted and pretty good at what I do. but I should be. And if I wasn't, then there would be a serious problem, you know. So yeah.
I like that. I do. How did you know that this was your purpose?
What, the coaching, or
Any of it?
all right. So I think when it comes to the family, as you know, we have a family on both sides, my mum and my dad's side, where it can be fairly close knit, and looking after your family is a given. Whereas other families maybe not so, especially split families. You know, don't need to go into all the ins and outs of that. But my father, my uncles, my mother, my aunties, it was just, that's how it was. If it's your children, you look after your children, and you look after your children properly, and they come before yourself. So I wouldn't know any other way than to not look after my children as best I can every single day. When it comes to a football one, that's a bit of a funny one, because I retired from playing football 18 years ago. Long time ago. 18 years ago. Okay, I'm an old boy.
Retired, you know.
Yeah, 18 years ago. And I haven't started coaching properly until probably the last 6 months. Mm-hmm. So I didn't actually realise this is what I'm meant to be doing now until very recently. But then I'm quite good now at taking a step back and just looking, well, so why did that take you so long? And then and you mentioned the personal training. Now, all the years and all the clients and all the different characters I've had personal training has kind of set me up to do this now. Although they're older and I'm dealing more with children, I'm dealing with adults as well. Just seeing all the different personalities. Again, it's been lessons for me to implement now in what I'm doing. And when I finished playing football, believe it or not a lot of people know this. A few do, but not a lot. I couldn't stand football. I hated it with a passion. Oh. I was hardly watching it. I wouldn't dare play it. And I moved, I don't know if you remember, but I moved abroad. I moved to Spain for a year. And then kind of year by year, that love has come back and come back and come back. So if I'd have started coaching when I finished playing football, the mindset wouldn't have been right. I wouldn't have been giving my best. The people that I was in and around, they wouldn't have got the best of me. But now, whoever I come into contact with, 99 times out of 100 is going to get the best of me, which means they're going to improve as well. So I guess I didn't actually find it. I just got the message that this is the time.
Love that.
So,
and
yeah.
I think there's something so poignant about timing. Yeah. And I just thought, you know me, I think that everything is in God's time anyway. You could have rushed it a couple, 5-10 years ago, and then it might not have worked.
It wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked. I was still, for that sort of role where you're now not in charge, but you're now looked upon to give guidance and instruction, I was still too immature. Some people can do that when they're 25, 20 years old. Some people, like you said earlier, can't ever do it. But now I can relax in let's just say, an intense situation, and I'll say, what's the best scenario we can get from this? Whereas before, if I was in that situation, I would have probably found the worst scenario, and that would have ended, let's just say it would have ended messy. But that, like I said, that's a maturity thing. And like you say, the time is absolutely everything. Yeah.
That is amazing. So these purposes of yours, your multifaceted purposes, how did you know that they were your purpose?
How did I know? Like I say, with the family, that was just a gimme. You could have asked me when I was 15 years old before I had children, or 20, 25 before I had children. When you have children, I knew that I would live and die for my children. I knew that from an early age. So that wasn't anything that evolved, or, it wasn't a timing thing as to when I would be that kind of person. it was just a timing thing to when I actually had my children. But if I was a young dad, which I wasn't, I think I would have still carried them values because that's what I'd been taught all my childhood. I think with the football, like I've just said, is I didn't know it was my purpose until I got that message, or until you know, things happen that are completely out of your control that land on your plate, and you go, oh, okay, someone's trying to show me something here. Someone's trying to tell me something here. And sometimes I miss them. It'll be right there. It'll be right there. And I'm like this and I'm like this. But this one was like that. Literally like that in my face. I was like, okay, I see you. I see you. And it's you know, they talk about the law of attraction and things like that. And I would see somebody and they would be doing they've just done their coaching course. I would hear something on TV. There'd be so many messages, and I swear, you know, somebody up there is saying, Leo, how many times have I got to tell you? Can you not see it yet? And then I'm like, okay, yeah, I hear you, I see you. And then I knew it was right, and it feels right. And you know, in life, when you do certain things in life, you know it doesn't feel right. It's like, if I'm allowed to say, you may have certain guests that may want to come and see you. You may have certain guests that people have suggested to you, but it doesn't feel right.
I told you.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't feel right.
And I'm not mentioning no names.
But you know when it feels right.
No, you do.
Yeah,
definitely.
And you're comfortable in it.
Yeah.
And even when things aren't going right, you're still comfortable because you know it's the right path. You know it's the right time. You know it's the right. It's right for you as a person, and you can literally feel yourself growing, and not just growing into the next stage of your life. And you know, you wouldn't turn around, because for me, I'm loving what I'm doing, and the time is right, you know. And the spiritual one, you like that one? The spiritual one is it's probably something that I don't like to say regret, but it's probably something that I wished I had earlier, because I think it would have allowed me to do so many more things better if I was more like that. It's like when I used to play, when we won, I was the happiest person in the change room. When we lost, I was the most upset, the most, can I say, vexed? I was the first one to fight, I was the first one to start, but there was no middle ground. And I don't think it served me well in the state, in a sense that I can look back now, I can recognise it, and my children, other people around me, I can help a lot more people than just myself. But I feel if I wasn't that person when I was younger, then I could have achieved a lot more. So there's a sense in my heart that, you know what, I wish you'd have understood that a little bit earlier. But now you understand it, you can share that with so many more people. So it's kind of a double-edged sword with me.
You know what I think about that? That's why I was laughing to myself.
Go on.
I think sometimes it's our own fault. We're in our own way. And I feel like you're quite a stubborn person. So... I like the way you quickly said that.
I mean, my partner may disagree. A lot of people may disagree, so yeah.
Well, I own my stubbornness. You know what? It's a quick story. Roman has got a tutor, and I give my children options about things, and I said, like, do you want to do your 11 plus? He knows what it is, whatever. He said, yeah, he wants to do it. I said, okay, we're going to get you a tutor. What? It's going to take work, whatever. Anyway, he had to do some work on the weekend, some maths, and he was, getting a bit frustrated. Anyway, he ended up having this big old tantrum about this work, and he cried for a really long time. And you could just hear him like, doing all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And I said, Marlon was like, oh, dear. I said, do you know that that's what we look like to God? When he's asking us to do things and we're not just getting on with it. We're having this big old tantrum. You're going left when he told you to go right. So what I'm saying is sometimes we are our own reason why there's a delay and why things take longer than they should, because we're not following the thing that we know we should be doing.
The path, the journey.
Do you know what I'm saying? And that's why I think the spiritual journey can be, I think it's a long process anyway, I think. But the more resistant you are to it, the longer it's going to take you.
Yeah, it makes it takes longer because you're going to have to get it done anyway.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So the things that you might have seen that you could have done 10 years ago, if you'd done what you're supposed to do. But then I think, well, sometimes we just need to relearn the lesson a little bit. Yeah. And as I say to people, like, in life, there's lots of tests. If you don't pass it the first time, guess what happened? That test's going to come again.
Yeah, you got to do it again. Yeah.
So, I think it's, I just own it sometimes. And now it's like, you know what? Just get on with it.
Yeah. Just whatever the test is, just your best. And I say, it's funny because my youngest son, he's starting to have tantrums on the football pitch, off the football pitch, on the football pitch. And it's hard for me as a dad and as a dad in football and watching it happen. And the other parents think that I'm too hard on him, and the other parents thought I was too hard on my older son. But I've always had this consistent message for all my children and every client that I have as a personal trainer and every player that I will ever coach. Your best is always good enough. Even if you're the worst player on the pitch, if you did your best, that is more than proud of you. My clients, if you can't finish that set, you did your best, that's good enough for me. But what I find hard to accept is if they don't try their best and they're not giving 100%. And when I see him not try his best, that's when I come down on him. And that's more of a, not a football thing, that's a life thing for me. And it's funny because you just said sometimes we're being shown to go left and we go right. So when I go right, I'm not doing my best. And when I don't do my best, then I've got to look at myself in the mirror. And I think too often I would resist or rebel and not give my best at something that I knew that I should really be doing. And then, if I followed the words of my own advice, I would be going left and going 100% left. And if I didn't get over that obstacle, then I'm cool with myself. I'm fine with myself. But the likelihood is if we go left when we're told to go left, we're going to be okay. But it's having that belief and that desire and that recognising, all right, I ain't really too keen on this part of the journey, but we got to get it done.
Yeah. I feel like we're talking a little bit about obedience as well.
Yeah.
And I feel like you can see, I say that to people, that your children are like a mirror to you. And there's areas of them that, especially the bits that you don't like, that is like, hello.
And they show up a lot.
Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, well, actually, that's that ugly that you're seeing in them is your ugly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's your ugly DNA showing right now. So, I feel like children are there to really, they're such a blessing in that they teach us so much. And, they highlight some of the bits that we still need to work on.
Yeah, for sure. Sure.
So there's little things like watching Roman's tantrum and whatever. And Marlon's mum came round and Marlon was telling her, he's not doing he's being a bit lazy with the work and whatever. And then she just came and she said, that's how you
that's
are.
You. I know.
And I just couldn't stop laughing because it's like...
I know better than most.
You're going hard on him.
Yeah.
But that's you.
That's you. That's you.
So...
And I say every time I see Roman, all I can see is Marlon.
Really?
All I can see is Marlon. That is just Marlon. Marlon. 101% through and through. Yeah, so just give him that little reminder if he needs it.
Yeah, it's just trying to get him over that.
Yeah, but on the flip side of that, and this is something that I need to remind myself, and everyone should remind themselves: when you look at your children and you see the positives, that's you as well.
That's true.
That's
Yeah,
you as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
And
yeah, could be the other side. It could be their mum or their.
yeah, but you have to give yourself.
No, we got to own that too. Yeah,
exactly.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. So, what steps would you say that you've taken to walk in your purpose?
Recently,
Just think about your kind of life, and what steps did you take?
I think earlier on in life, and more my teenage life and early adulthood, I don't think I recognised a spiritual purpose at that stage, which is something that I could have done with recognising. All I wanted to do was be a footballer from when I was about 6 years old. So that was my whole purpose from top to bottom, right or wrong. That's how driven I was. And the reality is, I had no right to be a professional footballer. we had no right to make it in that game at any sort of level. But that desire and that recognising, you probably don't recognise your purpose when you're 10 years old, but you know what you want to do, and you don't call it a purpose. You just say, I want to play football. I want to watch football. I want to learn football. And that probably took me from my early adult years until my mid-20s. But then, let me stay on track with the question. But then, for example, coaching now, I didn't recognise that as my purpose until very, very recently. And I think what we touched on earlier is when I went through some real tough times, I couldn't see a purpose. And that's why I can sit here and speak to you or speak to anybody and say, you're alive, but you're not living. And I had too many days, let's be honest, weeks, months, years, when I didn't recognise my purpose. And I don't mind sharing this with the world. There was a certain time, the only reason why I actually wanted to be here was because I had a 1-year-old son. And that's why I'm so strong on the words I said earlier with regards to you're alive, but you're not living. And there's a big part of me that was completely dead. And I've said to my son years ago that there's a stage in my life that you was my hero, because the only reason why I wanted to be alive was because of you and you being here. But there's a good few years where I couldn't recognise a purpose. Maybe because the only thing I knew, the only thing that I was driven towards for, going on 20 years was to play football. And if you don't have a little bit of guidance, a little bit of advice, or it could be from a professional, it could be from a family member, it could be from anybody, just to put you on the right track, like yourself. I might be walking down the street and you would pull me and say, listen, you know what? There's more to this than what you're doing right now. But I went through many years where I didn't know a purpose, and it was, without doubt, the hardest years of my life. But then you come through, or hopefully you come through. Most people come through, and then you recognise why you're living. You recognise why you wake up in the morning. And when you're recognising why you're doing what you are doing, you start to love what you're doing. And then this is pretty deep, but it's true. You start to love yourself. And when you don't have that purpose, or when I didn't have that purpose, you don't have that love, and you don't have that love for yourself, and you're lost, and you're in a fight on a daily basis, and you don't even know how to win the fight. It suddenly got really, really deep and really, really emotional. But then, like I say, I can sit here now today and go, right, that's my purpose, that's my love, that's my heart, that's what I live for, that's why I'm here today.
How did you get through those times though? That's not my normal question, but I feel like there's something that you've learned that is going to help somebody else listening today.
I don't know. That's the
You
truth.
spoke about Will Smith's clips.
Yeah, that was towards the back end of it when I was starting to hear positive messages. But up until those clips, this is a whole nother show. We're talking not £2 to my name. No food in the fridge. No food in the cupboard. Unable to buy clothes. You got a 1-year-old son. And how you got through it, I don't know. I'd have to put a camera back on myself, go back and rewind and watch it. I don't know. Is how did I get through it? Pretty much homeless. That's how bad it was. And when you come through being a professional footballer for 11 years and then bang, it's over like that and you don't know what direction to go in. If someone could say, you know what, just go that way, it's cool. But probably those messages were coming, I just couldn't see them, I couldn't hear them. But yeah, they were tough times, and I don't have a definitive answer for you to say, this is how I got through it. And if I could, I would share it with the world, because there's other people, no doubt, that are going through real hard times. But I don't know the answer.
Maybe you just took one day at a time.
I don't know.
You did, because you're here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because there's some other people that meet those times who decide or make choices to do different things.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I do. I work with so many different people, and when you're in that point, different people make different choices.
Yeah, and the reason why I probably didn't I don't know how radical I would have gone, was because I had a son. And that's why I said to him, you're my hero, and that's why I'm here today.
That is so powerful.
Yeah, and he was one. He could barely talk. He couldn't even talk, but he didn't know what he was doing for me. But at the time, he was holding me up. He was literally holding me up like that. But he had no idea what he was doing, how he was doing it. And like I say, how radical and how low I would have got is still unknown. But I know it wouldn't have been as easy to survive if he wasn't about. And that's hard to say. That's hard to recognise, hard to speak out about. But it's real and it's true.
I just love that you're here to tell us this, and that, you know, it will be so powerful for him to watch this as well, and to, because I don't think we don't share those things with our kids. Like,
no,
you know, I spoke to a guest who was talking about lows and battling with mental health, and like, you listen, I think I was saying to him that we connected because I could tell he'd been through something. And I feel like that's probably why we connect on a different level now.
Yeah.
Like before it was, but now I think pain recognises pain, if that makes sense.
For sure.
You know, and I think just being here and being able to share openly, vulnerably, I don't think that old Leo would have done this. Like,
no, that's what I mean.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I grew up. I just grew up late. I just grew up later. But it's funny you say that. I've got. I hope this don't get out on there too early. Don't spoil it for me, please. But it's something that's going to come out in my wedding speech. And like you said, I don't think we share it necessarily with people, and we should share it, because those people are only going to become happier and feel good and inspired by what you're saying. But I can call her my wife now, because she'll be my wife real soon. One of my biggest flaws, and it's funny how you say we pass it down from generation to generation. My dad was exactly the same. You know, my dad, communication was out of 10, -2. It was terrible. Communication was horrendous. And like you say about Roman and Marlon, Roman picks up traits from Marlon because he's his son. I pick up traits from my dad. My communication, it's got far, far better because it had to. But when I'm in pain, when I'm upset, I become an introvert. But I scream so loud in silence. So it's my actions, but I don't say anything. You won't hear me. But like you say, pain recognises pain. It's a great saying, by the way. My wife has been the first person that hears me clearly when I don't say anything. And she shouldn't have to, but I think it's one of the things why we're so close. When I'm in pain, I'm upset, I'm not happy, I'm frustrated, she hears it without me saying. And I think when you've got somebody like that, then that's a connection that is pretty invaluable. Because when you're in a relationship with people like myself, we don't express it vocally, but we expect you to be able to hear us. Do you see what I mean? And she can hear me, and
Well, the beauty of this is that they say the first thing is being able to identify it. The second thing is the acceptance. And then the third thing is then being able to then do something about it.
Yeah.
So I hear the identification, I hear the acceptance, and now it's like, okay, your communication isn't -0, -2. Maybe it's on 2 now because you're actually communicating. Actually, I really struggle to communicate my feelings. And sometimes it's learning tools of how to do that.
Yeah.
I would say I'm a great communicator, but I internalize my feelings because I'm worried about how that person's going to receive it. And so then I just keep it in here.
You keep it inside.
But guess what? Went to counselling, and then they taught me how to communicate my feelings. It doesn't have to come out. Actually, Leo, do you know that day that I met you? You really hurt my feelings.
See, I don't even remember it. I don't even remember. Sorry.
But no, it's fine. It's a joke. But I'm saying I've become much better at being able to say. And I think it depends on who you're saying it to. Marlon is my safe place. Like I can do that with him, but I still need to. I gave this scenario. So I go gym. I've stopped just training on my own with my headphones, not talking to nobody. Now I start to do the classes.
With your PT.
Maybe should I say this or not? Anyway, a group of us went out. Girls went out for lunch. Fine. One of the group members had some really, what would I say, triggering behaviour for me in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Like just asking 101 questions. Oh, what kind of seasoning do you put on it? We're in a Turkish restaurant. They don't season the fish. You either eat the fish or you don't eat the fish.
Yeah.
And then like this other thing that really, I don't know why this really triggers me as well. When the bill came, we've all sat together, we've all ate together, somebody's birthday. She starts itemizing the things that she ate. Oh my gosh. Right. So now I'm really annoyed. Anyway, fine. We left there. She's not my friend. She's someone that I know from the gym. Right. But now, because I felt offended by that behaviour, I haven't been able to... No, I haven't said anything to her. But my whole body language is showing that something's wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm still haven't learned to be able to articulate how I feel. Yeah. Because I don't like confrontation.
Yeah.
And it's something that I need to really work on because this is putting up barriers in different areas of my life, clearly, because I'm talking about my gym life. But no, I should have just said to her, look, that was really, you didn't need to behave like that.
Yeah, and I think that's funny because you were screaming in silence.
Oh my gosh, I was so angry inside.
Right, exactly, but you didn't say anything.
I didn't say anything.
But it's one of the things I've learned, sorry. is that message that you I feel that you need to say to that person. It's 100% in the delivery.
Yes.
It's just in the delivery, how you deliver it. But you've got to know what kind of person that person is, and then just, adapt in a way that they will receive the message, but in the best possible way. That's the way I see it. Now, if you do that to the best of your ability, or anybody does that to the best of their ability, like I said, your best is always good enough. Now, if you've done that to the best of your ability and then they take it the wrong way, you're like, I can't do no more. I can't do no more for you. I've done the best I can to try and tell you this. You're still taking it bad. Okay, no worries, it's cool now. But it's out. It's not inside no more. It's
No,
out.
I agree with you. And the thing is, I've learnt to do that in my relationship with my marriage, and I think I've become quite good at that. But then it's now the next level is to do it with other people.
Yeah.
But I think the beauty of marriage is that you learn and you apply. So your communication, because you're giving me very good advice about what I need to do with this lady from the gym, but you're not telling me what, you're not communicating how you're feeling.
I guess, you know what, also from my point of view, it's easy to say it now when I'm sitting down and I'm relaxed and I'm chill, but when, in the moment, you've got emotions, you've got feelings yourself, and if you feel like somebody that you're socialising with is in your social circles at that moment in time isn't acting correctly, you may not say it in the right way. I mean, I will not say it in the correct way plenty of times in my life, and then maybe later on I'll be like, you know what, Leo, you could have, just delivered that differently.
You know what I think to myself, right? There's certain situations that I care about. So I care about deeply about Marlon. So I want to acquire those skills for us to be better. I have to say this nicely. It's all in the delivery. But in that situation, this is not a close friend of mine. It's not a person that I spend time with. And, this is a person that goes to a class that I go to. Like, take it or leave it. It's not, do you know what I mean? So, but I'm learning that this is something in me that I need to work on. So that's good. And I think it's that I've identified it, I've accepted it, and now I need to put it into action.
Yeah. And I think with the delivery as well, I don't know if you're like me in this way, but I've got my suspicions that you are. If you don't deliver it at that time, I'm at home on my own, delivering it to four walls. And I'm like, why are you delivering it now? If you wanted to say that, why didn't you say that earlier, bro? And that's what I'm saying to myself. Yeah. And then you're like, delivering it again an hour later. And the next morning I'm delivering it. And I was like, well, if you'd have just said
No, I don't. Maybe I should practice the delivery. What happened was then I saw her again. Yeah. And then the girls that we went with, we were talking. And then I thought, I feel like I'm in school again. This is petty. I'm a big woman. This person upset me. And I should have just told her. And I don't need to do this and vent with other people. I need to just say it to the woman. She's a big woman. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. She can either take it, because maybe it might help her in something else.
Yeah, I ain't sure it will, but it may do. It could do a little bit, But it's just deliver it if you feel like you need to deliver it. That's what I would say.
Yeah. So I'm gonna practice the delivery. Yeah. There's a few of these scenarios that I need to do this with anyway. So
and I think even if you don't get the delivery right, afterwards, I'll just be happy
that you said it. And maybe that's the bit that I just need to say it. Yeah, that's good.
It might have gone better, it could have gone better, it didn't go better, but I've done it.
After all this advice, the last question is...
Go on, hit me, go on. Sorry, we went off track. Sorry.
No, but it's good. It's good. What advice would you give to someone who's looking for their purpose?
Who's looking for it? Your purpose is probably looking for you. So you're not going to have to look too hard, but you do need to be aware and you need to be open. Because, it's easy for me to say, because my purpose from a working point of view was kind of easy, because that's what I've done anyway. And sometimes when I look at other people, especially other people that you know, I probably have got a little bit more admiration for the purpose that they find. They had no idea that that was their purpose a year ago, 6 months ago, 2 years ago. So when your purpose finds you, don't go right. Because down that left road that you're resisting, that will be, you know, your own, how can I say, your own heaven. That will be your own paradise. That will be your own happiness. You just don't know it until you start going down there. So your purpose is looking for you. And if you are looking for it, be open to everything, because that road that you may not want to go down might just be the happiest road. And it will not just make you grow as a person, but it will grow your happiness, grow your joy, should I say. And that's quite obviously what the plan was for you. You know, so I think that's what I would say. Be open and know that it's looking for you as well.
I like that. I like that. Do you know what? I've thoroughly enjoyed our conversation today.
So have I. I mean,
Really.
I would do this all night with you. I'd do this all weekend
It's
with you.
just,
We could chat. We
I
could chat
don't
all
know.
night. Yeah, it's nice.
Whew. I'm so glad. I feel like, it's felt a bit like therapy, actually.
Yeah, it has, and I find that as well. When you just talk to certain people, most people, and you know they can be open, they can be honest about themselves. It is therapy, because I think when we go to therapy, people are just bringing out what's inside of you anyway.
Definitely.
And then they're just giving you that clarity and that sense of purpose. You with me?
On that note,
Is that a good way to sign off? Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much, Leo.
No, thank you. I
It's
really
been,
enjoyed it.
you've blessed me, you've blessed the podcast, and I just wish you so much on your journey, this new journey of marriage, of just your career, just everything, your spiritual journey.
Yes.
That which has been there the whole time.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and thank you for inviting me. And this has been so good. Therapy's been good. Hearing the stories have been good, and this is beautiful. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Guys, another one wrapped up. Thank you for joining us. Please share this with someone who may need to hear what we're talking about. And we'll be back with a brand new guest on the next episode of Purpose Driven Life. Take care. God bless.